So in response to the wantonly just bloodthirsty bombings of civilian targets in Ukraine in the wake of the most significant prisoner swap in the war's history so far, Ukraine struck back, and instead of killing civilians, Ukraine destroyed 40 different aircraft inside Russia. Ukraine struck back in one of the most impressive attacks we've seen. This level of strategic expertise, know-how, and execution is incredibly impressive, and it goes to show that Ukraine more than has the capability to handle this war if given the funding and support that it deserves and that it needs. Let's get into it.
Russia is said to be reeling from the unprecedented and audacious drone attacks by Ukraine. Ukraine hit multiple air bases deep inside Russia in what they're calling Operation Spiderweb. Ukrainian officials say that dozens of Russian warplanes were wiped out by the drones that had been smuggled into Russia and hidden on trucks. There is a new round of peace talks between Ukraine and Russia just getting underway in Turkey, so it's an interesting backdrop, these drone attacks. Let's get right to CNN Chief International Security Correspondent Nick Payton-Walsh for the latest on all this. Nick.
Yeah, extraordinary how deep inside Russia this daring, sophisticated Ukrainian attack took place, hitting an airfield halfway across Russian Siberia at one point and up near the Arctic Circle too. These 117 drones, Ukraine security services say, hidden inside wooden mobile homes, the roofs of which seem to have slid off, releasing this cloud of attack drones. Video, in fact, showing how they flew over Russia's Tupolev 94 propeller-driven strategic long-range bombers, essentially what Moscow uses to wreak havoc across Ukraine civilian targets every single night, taking out one by one. Now, Ukraine says it destroyed 41 aircraft, including a kind of AWACS-style A-50 aircraft. But really, I think some of the bigger damage here is to Russian military pride.
Russian military pride was destroyed when this invasion failed, because it was supposed to be a special military operation. It was supposed to last, what, like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months? And now we're looking at 3 years. The reality is the Ukrainians have been fighting their asses off. They have defied all international expectations. They have gone above and beyond what everybody predicted they would be able to do yet again. And despite all of Donald Trump's disgusting, weird-ass, sticky-fingered-ass attempts at trying to sabotage, let's call it greatness, despite all of those attempts by the fat ass in chief, Ukraine has still managed to strike back. And they didn't strike by attacking civilian targets. They didn't strike by blowing up hospitals. They struck by attacking Russia's ability to blow up hospitals, ability to blow up schools. Credit has to be given where credit, credit has to be given where credit is due. Now, Ukraine They didn't just attack Russia's Air Force. They also destroyed a bridge in Crimea, which is incredibly integral to Russia supplying its war effort. You got to transport your goods. You got to transport your ammunition, men, vehicles, food, whatever the case might be. These things must be transported. And a lot of these things are transported across Crimea, a territory, a part of Ukraine, Ukrainian territory that was illegally annexed by Russia. Ukraine didn't just strike their Air Force, they also attacked their logistics base, what they're using to transport goods. Ukraine is going above and beyond and showing NATO and the United States we're in this fight. And Donald Trump is being frankly humiliated by not just Vladimir Putin, but also Volodymyr Zelensky, because Vladimir Putin is showing, hey, I kill civilians when I want to kill civilians. Vladimir Putin is sending a very clear and concise message to Donald Trump. I kill when I want to kill. I kill when I want to kill. I destroy when I want to destroy. He's like Cooler from the first movie. He's like the weak die and the strong survive. Zelensky is showing Trump, I'm still being supported by Europe. And oh, by the way, my people are ready and willing and capable of fighting. Now, let's get into the amazing attack they did on the bridge in Crimea.
Ukraine says it has hit the Crimea bridge in an underwater attack. I'm going to show you this video, which was posted by Ukraine's intelligence agency, showing the moment the bombs went off. While this is the third time Ukraine has hit the 12-mile bridge that's connecting occupied Crimea to mainland Russia since the war began. Ukraine is describing it as a new type of operation. We've got CNN's international diplomatic editor, Nick Robertson, in London for us. And Nick, we're watching this video. You can see those underwater bombs going off. I firstly want to talk about the damage we're seeing on the Crimea bridge. It's clearly very strategic for Russia. Tell me what we know.
Yeah, as the Ukrainians say, it's the third time they've tried to target the bridge, and this time they've gone for one of the sort of vertical concrete pillars that holds the bridge above the water, 35 meters above the water, 9 meters of water. It's not clear how deep, if it was at the base. There's a lot of silt at the base of the Kerch Strait there, that's underneath the Crimea bridge. So this explosion, the Ukrainians are saying, involved 1,100 pounds of TNT equivalent. That is a pretty massive explosion, and we've just been able to see some video shot from a distance from the bridge, and you really can see a huge plume of smoke, water rising up next to the bridge, but it's not quite clear what has actually been damaged, the lasting damage, the impact of all of this. It's important for Ukraine to target because it connects mainland Russia with annexed Crimea. Now, since Russia began that invasion in 2022, they've taken essentially a land corridor, a land bridge that links mainland Russia to Crimea. But when they annexed it in 2014, they had nothing linking it but a ferry. So high-speed effort 4 years later, they build this 12-mile-long, estimated $3 billion rail and road bridge to link mainland Russia with Crimea. And Russia uses it to resupply and stock munitions closer to the front line in Crimea. And Crimea is also an important naval base for the Russian military as well.
The reality is that you have like weirdo, wimpy, like dorks like Alex Jones on Twitter talking about how NATO has attacked Russia and oh my God, save the world from World War III. It's actually ironic because every single time I look up, Russia threatens to blow up the entire planet. Like, this is unbelievable to me that conservatives find it within themselves to look at Russia as the victims. Somehow Russia are the victims in this situation. A nation state which threatens to blow up the planet every single month. That nation state is the victim. The nation that illegally invaded Ukraine twice is the victim. Conservatives are bereft of any morality. These people are soldiers of Satan. They're weird. And the reality is the attacks on these aircraft is not only obviously strategically important on a warfare level, but Russia is going out of its way to cause as much civilian death as humanly possible. I am glad that Ukraine blew up their planes. Russia has been transporting goods across a bridge connecting them to illegally annexed territory that they have Russified and colonized and taken the land. Kind of like what Israel's planning to do with Gaza, right? I predict that they're going to just bring in as many ethnic Israelis as possible and then say, well, there's so many of us here that it's kind of our land now. That's what Russia does. That's what they always do. They are 21st century colonizers. At least when America pulls up, we just blow you up. Russia blows you up and takes everything. I mean, that's just the reality of it. They blow you up and then they take everything from you. Your country, our country. That's how they look at it. That's the unfortunate reality of it. And the reality is the Europeans need to start looking forward to making a completely separate alliance. Maybe, not leaving NATO, but just rendering it defunct. If the United States wants to utilize its power, its intel for Russian benefit, then the Europeans need to realize the United States is on the wrong side of history. This is the reason why in the wake of this attack, the United States, not in the wake, but prior to this attack, the U.S. had no information about it at all. America was not warned about this attack in the slightest, not even told an inch of information about it. Why? Because the shithead in chief, Donald Trump, is very close friends with Putin. He loves Putin so much, and for some reason is beholden to Putin, that Ukraine obviously could not trust him with classified information. And that's the route the United States is heading down. We are losing valuable allies to gain bum countries like Russia. You mean to tell me we're giving up the EU and NATO, incredibly rich, powerful, prosperous, progressive countries to become buddy-buddy with what do they call, a gas station posing as a country? Is that what Mitt Romney called them? I don't know if it was McCain or Romney. A gas station posing and pretending to be a country. A nation state of crony, mafioso wannabe bums who pretend like they're somehow the vanguards and saviors of white Western civilization. Please stop. You don't even have working toilets. Let's just keep it 100. That nation state talks a big culture war game of how they've banned homosexuality and LGBTQ. They've banned rap music and they don't allow the black music in Russia, and they don't do this and they don't do that. And Tucker Carlson upholds them as this shining beacon on a hill of what the West could be like, completely ignoring the cronyism, the corruption, the incompetence, all of which we're heading for ourselves right now, by the way. Tucker Carlson completely ignores all of that because all conservatives can think about is images. Functioning government, institutions, they don't give a fuck about that. The only thing they care about is images, vibes. That's all they care about. And henceforth, the United States is now an untrustworthy player in this geopolitical game. MAGA has bought Tucker Carlson's pro-Russian propaganda hook, line, and sinker. And now the United States finds itself positioning itself to be geopolitically isolated over the course of the next however long this regime lasts. It is a damn shame that that's where we are headed as a country. But Ukraine has proven itself to be more than capable, and this is Donald Trump's chance to be on the right side of history. If there's one thing about Trump, he is unpredictable, and we're going to just have to see what his response to this will be. But I don't really trust it. I don't really trust this at all. Frankly, I don't have much faith in Trump. He's been a Russian stooge since he got into office the first time. He's been tightly linked and closely linked to Russia for decades. I highly doubt that Russia becoming the losers is going to all of a sudden compel him to switch sides here. But it just goes to show, like, this is not, like, his attempts at trying to help evil win are fucking failing. Praise God. Now, we'll see if Trump is going to come out and condemn Zelensky's attacks. More than likely he will, because he likes to position himself as this master negotiator who's going to bring both sides together to see the light, which is just incredibly naive and childish. But, I mean, what more could you expect from a naive child? It is what it is. W Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? I'm supporting them, rooting for them. Hope they find some kind of way towards some victory. I doubt they're going to be able to reclaim all their territory or even half of it, but some kind of deal in which they become members of a NATO member state is a win enough for me. So that's what I'm rooting for. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.